mom, number one, love. I'm talking healthy boundaries and therapy. These traumas and being broken, and just see the little peak of light at the end of the tunnel and just chase it. Eyes, skin, lips. It takes care of all those features.
Some mamas can do this in 5 minutes. Come on.
Oh, that's hot flashes to
hot
just
flashes?
I need my sass back.
Oh, you too? Well, if you're done with a hot mess and ready to cook up some hotness, mama, I got you. Hey, I'm Deb, mama at Sass and Smalls. You're listening to Sass and Small Talk. We're going to talk about all the things, the mess, the cleanups, chasing the kids while chasing the dream. Join us here as we continue to find perfection in the imperfection of family life, while keeping things as sassy as they've always been. Before the drool, meltdowns, and potty mishaps came into the picture, I'm always looking for a way to fight through the funk of mamahood and find my sass. And I know I'm not alone. So grab your poison, throw on your comfy, and let's talk. Darling,
I need my sass back.
hello, everyone. Welcome to Sass and Small Talk. Today, I have the most special guest ever. I couldn't be more excited to bring him here on the show for this episode. Andrew Velázquez. He's a born and bred Angelino who always knew he was meant for a life in beauty. He currently lives with his beautiful dogs and his husband, Johnny Debut, in Orlando, Florida. He is the CEO of his very own brand, Love is Art, Art is Love Cosmetics, also known, and I hope I don't butcher this, forgive me if I do, Amor es Arte, Arte es Amor. Did I get that right?
Yay! You got it right.
Okay.
Good job.
Andrew is also an author of the ready-to-launch book and memoir of the same name, coming November 15th, so watch out for that. And I have a fun fact. If you think he looks familiar, you probably have seen him. I'm fangirling a little bit here. He was a finalist on the reality show American Beauty Star. Isn't that impressive? I mean, look at him. I mean, he looks like a star, right? So he was a finalist. So we are very, very lucky to have him here. He has also worked with his share of very familiar names as a makeup artist with major celebrities from Lady Gaga to RuPaul, to Demi Levato, and along with many, many others on major film, TV, and music video production. So I am so honored to have Andrew here on the pod to talk about his life of creativity and beauty, his journey to create his own brand, taking risks in life, following dreams, and not ever taking life for granted. We're going to dig deep. So let's get to know this inspiring artist and creator, Andrew. Welcome.
Hey.
Yay!
Hello. Oh my goodness. That was quite the intro. Thank you so much, beautiful. I'm so honored to be here at Sass and Smalls. I love everything that you have to talk about and everything that you're behind. And I back it up 100%. So congratulations to you. Bravo. I love you.
Thank you. Well, I wanted to congratulate you on your book and your, oh my gosh, his palette that's come out, the Volume 1 Mi Corazon. It's on my IG. We just finished the most spectacular mommy makeup tutorial.
Much fun.
So much
that was
fun.
Epic.
That's why. So let's just take a moment to just enjoy.
Girl, you look gorgeous. All the snatch, the cheekbone, the brow, the lip. That's all you need in life. A little concealer, bronzer, and a lip to pair you off, right?
Very easy. And this is the thing is we had a lot of mamas viewing, and we're hoping that it'll reach the masses of mamas because we deserve to feel beautiful too. And I think so many times we just get inundated, right? So his book, I know we usually have guests here that are either other moms or something that's like mom centric. But why we wanted Andrew here was because your creativity, you're so inspirational as a creative human. And
thank you.
You followed a dream, you followed a path, and I was very lucky to be able to be witness to it, whether it's like online, a little bit in person. I saw him in his earlier years as a makeup artist, very dear friend of mine. I'm just going to give you a quick history on how I know this incredible human. Okay. So we
break it
down. Okay. So we met over a decade ago. Okay. How old do we feel? Was it over a decade ago? Like
we were this little. We were tiny little babies.
We were about like these tiny little babies. I had no children. I wasn't even married. Okay. I was, right. He was my work husband.
I was. Hello. Look at us. We look good together, right?
We do.
I mean, the skin color matches.
We do. And, you know, George wouldn't even mind because, you know, George also loves Andrew.
We got our bromance thing.
They got a bromance. Yeah. So we know Andrew through and through on a personal level, but I actually met him at MAC Cosmetics where I saw him firsthand, his talent as an artist and a creator back then. And I always knew he's destined for great things. He also does hair, right? You do hair as well. I mean, look at his hair. Like, look at this man.
Oh, it's just a little blow dry.
Yeah.
It's no big deal.
So I was actually going to come here to ask you a bunch of questions, right? I was going to, but I thought, you know what? I just want to talk. I want you to just word vomit all.
Let's do it.
Tell us how the journey, the process that led you to this moment. And just let's get to know Andrew a little bit. I'm going to kind of interject with a couple questions here and there, but let's just talk. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about Andrew. I mean, who are you? Did I cover who you are basically? Like what's going on?
You're so good. I mean, it's kind of like you have a podcast and you're a host. It's almost like this is, no, you're great. I try. I'm just chilling. I'm right here just watching, enjoying the show. Really. you're so good. It's like, oh my God, the tone of your voice, the cadence, it's on point. I hear you. I know that you're a singer and you have that harmonious quality to you. So I see it. I appreciate it. But no, that intro was epic. Thank you. I feel so connected to you. I mean, even though we were far in other countries, it's like it never went away. Like every time we start talking again, we left off where we were back then. Yeah. And we were little babies. We were in our 20s. Yes. Yeah. We were just like, just fresh out of what I call my bad adolescence, which is chapter 3 in my book, El Diablito. And yeah, no, I mean, I love the fact that we met in such an integral part of my career and just really taking the artistry and the cosmetics corporate experience to the next level. And I feel that all those experiences and those jobs has helped me to be where I want to be today and still growing and learning from that because I'm forever a student, which is what my mama taught me. And she's my first, love and inspiration and 100% supporter. I'm Mexican-American, born and raised in Boyle Heights, East LA, California. First generation. My mom's from León, Guanajuato, and my dad's from Jalisco, Guadalajara. So learning English, because Spanish was my first speaking language, and coloring was really like my first form of expressing myself, because my mom always had me drawing and sketching, and she would draw with me. And she encouraged me to join the Los Angeles Music and Art School, where I really learned about color theory and painting and sketching and drawing and sculpting and just all mediums of art in general. Fast forward to my high school, where many of us kind of have a little self-discovery trauma and trigger situation. I mean, for me, it was, I'm not going to lie, it was discovering that, because I was raised Catholic, and I did, baptism, confirmation, all the things.
All the things.
Realizing as a Catholic man, I think I'm sinning because now I'm feeling other kind of ways, thinking that, first I thought it was bi because I just thought that was normal. And then I was like, no, I'm gay. I'm a gay man. But I'm being told that it's a sin through my spiritual practice. So I was very conflicted with that. And I expressed in my book about that. But I still kind of hold it to my heart. And there's still a nostalgia to the Catholicism practices. And, obviously I don't agree that marriage is between just a man and a woman. It's between anybody that loves one another. And matrimony is for everyone. But yeah, I think going through those early adolescent days of just self-discovery, it was really hard for myself and my mom in particular, because I think I helped raise my brothers, and my dad worked all the time as a mechanic during the day and then a tow truck driver at night. So I was really the other parent in our household, and I felt this maternal instinct that just kind of was natural, raising my 3 siblings. Where one after me were 4 years apart, then 10 years apart, and then 11 years apart. So I would be 11 years old with one brother on the bus, meeting my mom to the hospital, and she was on another bus because she doesn't drive, with another brother. So, because they were always sick, like, raising kids, like there's always something wrong with, they get a cold or one fell off the chair and broke their foot. I mean, I'll never forget this one time my little brother was playing with like cans and he cut the tip of his finger and it literally fell off. And my mom went into full Mexican mom mode and got like spider webs that were hanging on the kitchen walls and wrapped it around his finger, picked it up, and it worked like an adhesive and it saved his tip of his pinky. You know what I mean?
With a spider web. I love it. Home remedy.
What mom would think of that?
Yeah, of
so,
course.
I mean, that was like a huge impact. Is like, here I am helping raise my brothers, trying to discover who I am, going through these adolescence. Then I just kind of went nuts and I discovered like fashion, hair coloring, wardrobe, makeup, and being raised in the 90s with club kids it was a lot of fun, but also a little like risky and dangerous because you're being with these rebels and like outcasts that were partying all night at an early age. And so now I know at that point, like my mom felt a little like lost because what is this kid doing? That he was my right hand man helping me, and now I'm out just doing my own thing. And I also have to say, going through like just mental health issues and just being in like a huge depression, and I'm just going to be honest, like attempting suicide a couple of times, just feeling like really lost and just alone, and just kind of like, I don't think anybody understands me. Not even my mom understands me. And she was the person that I was the closest to. But because of that, and because of her urgency, she set me up for therapy. I had a psychiatrist, psychologist, like really young at an early age. And I didn't like it at first, but once I saw the benefits of it, I fell in love with therapy. And I've been in therapy ever since 15. Still to this day, as a 40-year-old man, it saved my life. So, mom, number one, art, love, and therapy. Those four things have just really been kind of like the journey through the career, through self-discovery, and just kind of like my philosophy all around, because I still hold all those things very close to my heart and try to share that back to whom I ever come across. And that's one of the things that my mom said was, you have a light, be careful with that light and how much you share of it, and make sure they're deserving of it, because you don't want it to be depleting and then it affect your mental health, which she was right. I didn't realize, like, you guys are like psychic. You have this like, I don't know, this sixth sense that you can just pick up on. Maybe it comes from the like fetus. I don't know, but there's just something there.
It's magical. I got to say, when they say mamas know. And I love that you listen to mama and that she is a very strong part of your journey. And that's actually why I love having you here, Andrew. Andrew is kind of a self-proclaimed mama in his own right.
Oh, absolutely.
As you hear, as you just heard, he helped raise his brothers, and you're a mama to your students. You're a mama to your dogs. You're a mama to right. And so this is what we love about Andrew, is that he, not only can he relate to moms, he just has such, as you can see here, you have such a regard for your mom. Your mom was part of this journey, the inspiration. So from both points of view, we can talk about that later. You're able to relate to our mamas that are listening because you know a role of overwhelm. You understand the mental load that a mama can carry because you've had a taste of it at such a young age. And then also, and of course that wasn't expected of you, but it just was the rule. And I feel that to the core because being raised in my culture as well as being Catholic, there's just this kind of loyalty to your family that it's just not even a question. I'm not saying other cultures don't have it, but it's really strong in our cultures, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So I respect that. I love that. But I think that's why you could really reach the masses, not just the LGBTQ community, not just the mental health community, but also caregiving community. And I think that's why you are perfect for this episode.
Thank you.
Can I just quickly read a part of your synopsis. So I got a little taste of Andrew's book and his memoir. Look at that. So anyone who's listening on the pod right now, I really encourage you to go to YouTube and check this same episode out. You will see this gorgeous book. Look at that cover. Look at that. Incredible. It's very image heavy. Am I right, Andrew? Is it quite image heavy?
I'm a visual, you know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of like the artistry that I first was really infatuated with. And then the narrative, I mean, it's always been there, but the visuals is really what kind of brings you in, and then you connect it. Yeah. Right.
I think each chapter kind of is related to one particular visual, which I think is just brilliant. And and it just kind of visits every phase in your life, which I admire so much, because the vulnerability in this book is so relatable, I believe, to so many. And I think mamas in general would benefit from reading something as powerful and profound as this type of journey from beginning to end, and not even just as a creative or a person who's just dying to let that creativity come out, but as a mom and looking at from the perspective of a mom and how a little boy who fought through the struggles of discrimination and all the trials and the trauma that you experienced. Let me just read the synopsis, because this is what got me. Okay. I'm not sure if this is in your book per se, but maybe it's in the back of your book, but here's what really touched me. My stories and images together show how I overcome self-destructive behavior and how I channel my energies towards a successful career in Hollywood's beauty industry. I tell an against the odds life story that connects self-acceptance to art and love. So basically, it's a story of past traumas and personal struggles and how you turn things around. And that inspired me as a creative, as a mom who feels I lost myself, right? I lost myself. I was on this journey I was alongside Andrew when we worked together. Fun fact, we used to work together at MAC Cosmetics. Did I mention that?
Yes.
Already? And like I said, I'm seeing his journey just flourish, and it was because you took these risks. You took these risks. You used those vulnerable, crazy moments in your life. Following what your mom's advice is like, let's share what needs to be shared to people who deserve to hear it, people who need it. Let's talk about your early years then. I don't want details. I told Andrew, don't give me too much because I want people to read your book. I want people to read your book. Right. All right. So let's talk about that. You speak very highly of Mama. Let's talk about you and Mama and all that stuff.
I mean, this is the 80s, going to like the first record stores, helping her pick out her favorite vinyl records, Annie Lennox, Cyndi Lauper, Madonna. And I loved the covers of each of those records and the posters hanging on her walls. And just to entertain me, she would, do her hair and makeup like the images that were just around me. And then she went to cosmetology school as well. And so she would take me. That's really where I discovered the scents, the smells of like the acrylic nails, the hairspray. And I mean, back then nails were like crazy and long. Yeah. The hair was huge and big. Yeah. But I absolutely loved it. And it just it was always around me. And my mom was like, just always done, glam, head to toe, accessorized, wardrobe. She just always was really well put together. Even though we didn't really have a lot of money, and I didn't know that as a young kid, and I discovered this later, I was just like impressed with her presence and just how put together she was. Obviously, little did I know that, behind the scenes, there was turmoil and like arguments happening with my parents because they are divorced now. And me being different was a huge factor in that. And I didn't know that until later in my life in therapy. But yeah, oftentimes my parents would argue and my dad would blame her for me being feminine or because I was always around her. But little did he know that I wanted to be around it, that I embraced it. And it's because of her that I'm a part of that. But this is the issue that I had in East LA and in such like a macho area with Catholicism and everything like that, is that I was being told like this feminine energy is wrong. You have to be this way to fit in. So I hid a lot of that for a long time. I think I trained myself to fit in. And I feel like a lot of our LGBT community does that. And probably even some females experience that as well. And like I said, it wasn't until therapy and, going back to being very vulnerable again and just attempting that the first time and being suicidal and going into psych ward and 5150 and I met this artist in there, and he was just a huge impact. He would write me poetry, and he would say, you know, I see your light. You don't belong here. Like, this is not for you. This is not the path for you. And there was something about the way he said that just kind of clicked. And I just decided from that point on, like, I need help. I need to be heard. I need to express myself, and I need someone that is going to understand that, to give me the tools that are going to help me in life. So yeah, that's why I think therapy is great for everyone.
Can I quickly ask you, around how old were you at that time when you had met this individual? You had gone through this time in your life. How old were you around?
15.
15. Okay.
Yeah. So fast forward to meeting my school counselor. He's like, your art credits are great. You're a magnet student. You're gifted. I traveled to the East Coast for the first time. No one in my family had ever traveled. And I stayed in, to study the first 13 colonies, and just tour like the East Coast for like 3 months. And that's why I fell in love with traveling and seeing the fact that I can go to other places and discover even more and learn, experience more. He said, however, you're struggling with your attendance and you're struggling with your timekeeping. And so these are your options. You either come full time, but I was getting bullied. I was getting jumped. He's like, or you can because of your art credits, you can just take your GED and go straight to a trade college. And I was like, I want that. Like, I just felt kind of like ahead of the generation, the schoolmates that I had around me. Like, they just kind of didn't understand where I was. And I went to trade tech for fashion merchandising. And that's where I was finally around other creative people that were different and kind of weird like me.
Love it.
And then
you found your people.
I did. So I left at 16.
16.
I did. I said to my parents, I want you to focus on my siblings, raise them with some quality, care, take care of you. I'm going to take care of me. So I had a partner at the time that I went and I lived in the Valley. So I left East LA to the Valley and went to West Valley Occupational Center for cosmetology school after fashion merchandising. And then that's where just the ideas of collaboration, conceptualizing with other artists and fashion designers and photography and wardrobe and being in hair shows. That's where I was like, whoa, you can really take this career to so many other areas. Like, it doesn't just have to be in a salon, which I did start in salon.
Sure.
And then finally because I shopped at Mac all the time.
Yeah.
Finally having the courage to pick up like my face charts and my little portfolio and go to the Mac Beverly Center and ask for the manager and say, hey, I'm dressed in all black. I know I'm not experienced as you, but I'm in cosmetology school. Would you just consider? And sure enough, I went to like 20 Mac locations, all in the LA and Orange County area. And in about a couple of weeks, I got 3 callbacks, and I became a freelance on-call artist at the age of 18.
What?
And then I finally started full-time at 19 at Nordstrom Topanga. And then that's where my 11 years with Mac Cosmetics just grew. So 11 years later, and that's when I met you in the corporate world, because I was an event coordinator with one of our amazing event directors, Seth Dolan, and then managed the pro store. And then that's where I got to meet all these amazing other artists like RuPaul, Lady Gaga, Michelle Williams, and then they work with agencies. So yeah, really, I think having mother's help, number one, and the encouragement and support. Number two, having these traumas and being broken and just kind of feeling the lowest of the low, gave me an opportunity to kind of like crack and just see the little peak of light at the end of the tunnel and just chase it and just start taking those risks and just start asking for help and asking for mentorship. And at Mac, I had so many mentors. I'm talking like John Stapleton, Gregory Orrell, Iris Navarrete, Tiffany Johnson, rest her
soul. Yeah.
All these beautiful, creative lights that made a huge impact in my life. And, I even go back to thinking, because we would get certified, right? We would get certified for application, for product knowledge. We get certified for public speaking, airbrush technique. And then I remember this senior artist position, and I'm like, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to apply for this. And I think you were around there. I was totally not ready. But here's an example of putting yourself out there, taking that risk. I said, I might not even be, just like I wasn't ready for that Mac role at 18. I might not even be ready for that senior artist role at 23. But I'm still going to just try it to get the feedback, to get the experience, and then see what I can do for the next time around when I am prepared. So 11 years fly by. Now I'm helping Norvina, also known as Claudia Soiree, and then I'm working on the Kardashians season 1 and 2. And Anastasia Beverly Hills was doing their eyebrows, and they're like, "Hey, you're a really good color artist. We want to start doing color. Would you be interested in a national makeup artist position?" So that was the time that I was ready to transition from my Mac culture, which was huge. And I write about that in the book because I compared to like working for Disney and just having this fantasy, almost like you're on a stage. You know what I mean?
It really was like Disney, wasn't it? Absolutely.
Little did they know that the Mac artist behind the Mickey ears is like also struggling like they are, or having these challenges. But at Anastasia Beverly Hills is where I took that national artistry level just to the next notch. Meeting Anna Wintour, going to fashion shows, helping develop the products, seeing the micas, the waters, and the pigments turn into actual cosmetics. And then social media becoming a thing and going viral. And then they really being the pioneers of the artistry community online and doing the sponsorship thing, and encouraged me to start like my platform. And then, so 4 years later, after experiencing, great, work with Anastasia and Norvina and Claudia, I finally decided to open up my own salon, and it was great. And it was in Glendale, California, where I took salon clients, and then still working with agencies, growing the portfolio, and still educating, other cosmetology schools as well. So now it's like full circle. Like I started in cosmetology school going with my mom, then going on my own. Yeah. And then while I was going to cosmetology school, my instructor saying, "You're a teacher too. I'm going to have you help me the makeup portion." So that always kind of stood in the back. And then later was like, yes, I am a teacher. I'm an educator. And so, now it's 8 years that I've left the corporate world and have been on my own. I live now in Orlando, Florida. And throughout those 8 years, I was able to be on American Beauty Star, this reality competition show that was on Lifetime, which is now on Amazon. So you can go stream now and just search for that. And that was a great experience on its own too, because now I'm quarantined for 3 weeks. I have access to no devices, no loved ones. I'm forced to be alone in my thoughts and kind of perform on stage because I'm being in front of the camera. So all I see is my hotel room, the shuttle, the studio, Adriana Lima, Sir John, Sarah, John, all these amazing people that are in our industry or looked up to for a long time. And so back in my room, just kind of neurotic Capricorn brain that I have, trying to go over the challenge for the next day, starting journaling, making face charts. That's when I realized I have a book and I need to publish this. Yeah.
You have a book. So you were collecting along the way. It's not like you just sat down and said, "Oh, I'm going to start a book." You actually had, without you knowing, you had the content accessible to you. So there's a book.
Absolutely.
I love it.
At the time it was more therapy and it was more meditational because the only things that I was allowed to take was like my iPod shuffle, my yoga mat, and my sketch pad to journal and draw. So those three things, mind, body, soul, like just taking care of myself and being healthy and being vegetarian, and then starting to draw and starting to journal, like all those things just kept feeding my soul, my mind, but also like in my body. So I could be present. And that's where I discovered like my Zendru. That's where I came up with that term of just being like completely in Zen and in peace. Exactly. Because there was drama. I didn't let the drama that was happening behind stage and cameras with other competitors get to me. I stayed true to who I was, authentic Andrew. I tried to focus on what was a challenge, and I wanted that to come through. And what I did the entire time, because my mom was going through a lot of just like really health issues at the time. what I did is I wanted to put all the energy that I was exuding on stage for her. I remember making that conscious effort. I remember literally saying physically and verbally out loud, like, Mom, whatever I'm doing on stage, if I win, great, but I want your help to win. And I felt kind of kept me going the entire season. And I made it to the finales, you know? I didn't win the winning title, but I won so many in other ways, by gaining experience, by opening up the salon, by writing the book. And then now my mom is healthier, which is great. Yes. And I'm very, very thankful for that. And then now I have this cosmetic line coming out, which is like, it's just crazy. Like, you would have told me like 10-year-old little Andrew from Boyle Heights would do that, I would have laughed at you.
Well, this is okay. So let's stop you for a second because, you know, he said the magic words. You know, I didn't win or anything. Dude, you don't call this winning? This is what's so incredible. It's like, hey, okay, first off, to be on a show, to be able to be handpicked, put in a show like this is very impressive. But to be able to work through the struggles, having the back of your mind, my mom needs me right now. I'm doing this for her. Must not have been easy for you, but you pushed through like you did with every other thing in your life. Push through, kept pushing through. And despite all the challenges, and I do love the Zendru. I'm going to have to steal that Zendru.
Do it.
Zendab. No, that works. Zendru. I'm going to keep it Zendru because let me just side note. Before we did our IG live, I was so nervous. Once again, go to my profile on SASS and Smalls. You'll see it. And
You're so cute.
I was shaking, Andrew, but we had a little pep talk, right? And
we did.
I know Andrew very well. I know him very well, but there's one thing I didn't know. I didn't know you were this centered. I didn't know that. And so the first thing, I got him on the call to give me some last minute, okay, what should I prep? You know what he said to me? This was his advice. Instead of saying, hey, I want this palette ready. I want this is what he said. He said, all right, let's take a deep breath in.
Yeah, I did. I just felt it.
I'm getting meditation from this.
I know it's all digital, but like I felt it remotely. Like
you felt my nerves.
I'm going to give you this like sanctuary zenness right now.
There was a zenness. I loved it.
It's important. And whatever that means for every individual, like whoever is listening to this, whatever zen is for you, maybe it's a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or going on a walk with your dog. You know, my dogs are my therapy as well. But yeah, honestly, just intaking in that beautiful oxygen, like Mother Nature is, hello, Mother Nature. Can we say Mother Nature is there for us? She always has our back. Don't forget that. Yeah. Breathe her in, and then just release all that trauma and activity. And it just balances you. It's like a diaphragmatic deep breath. And it feeds your brain. It really does. And that's what calms you. And then you just kind of shake it off, you know? Yeah. And you just kind of like, all right, I got this. Thank you, Mother Nature. I trust the process. Be patient. Be kind to yourself. And don't pressure yourself so much because humans are so good at that. We're so good at just putting this amount of pressure in it. And a lot of it has to do with like social media at times too, which I also think I know if you're hearing, you're not going to see this, but doing this, literally disconnecting from digital era is healthy. I'm talking healthy boundaries. I'm a human as well. I have experiences as well. Take a break. You know what I mean? Just come back, reset, collect your thoughts, do your breathing exercises, and then come back. Social media is always there when it's ready for you. But if it's not healthy for you at the moment, take a break. It's fine.
I have to say, so we all know that social media is like a full-time job. It really is. And being the CEO of your own brand, you're always learning, as you said, and you're building, you're constantly kind of evolving always. I've seen it from a distance. I watch you like a creeper, like a weirdo, like a stalker. And I'm like, how does he do it? Because I know you're busy. I know you got a million things going on. Just yesterday alone, you had all these IG lives. Everyone wants a piece of Andrew because his book is coming out. So we're like, I want him on the show. I want him to do my makeup. Like we're all jumping on Andrew right now. But for some reason, he is able to make time. He is able to respond. How though? How do you do that? And you're still, you keep this calm about you. Now, I want to rewind to the journaling because I think the journaling is also, you mentioned that as being part of your therapy in general, is part of this journey, a big part of it. There is talk these days, this is garbage, journaling, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's what people are saying. I want to ask you a question about this because I'm always, I got ADHD. I have about 5 beautiful journals and I have all this intention to start it. I think you're right. Like placing the thoughts in your head on paper, really that there's something to it. Okay. And you were able to use that journal for where you're at now. Like something happened with that journal that kind of just went this different direction that you never expected. Okay. So let's go back. Do you encourage as a creative mind to place things in something like a journal or recording your life in some way? Talk to me. What's a go-to for, I mean, that is your go-to, but why are so many people against journaling? And I
didn't know there was a plague for journaling, and I'm sad to hear that.
I am too.
I mean, there's always going to be, you can't please everybody.
You can't please everyone.
There's always going to be something that is going to have an opinion for all kinds of self-help discoveries. But for me, why it's worked for me, because there's something synergetically connect with your hands and your conscious as you're physically writing it out onto a two-dimensional paper and you're physically seeing it. It's sensory driven now. You're touching it, you're seeing it, you're feeling it, and maybe your soul is like feeling it too. So because we're all connected to Mother Nature once again, you're putting it out into the universe, and synergistically it will come back and grant you, if you're kind and you're following the light
and grateful and
absolutely. Yeah. So there's an exercise that I practice often that, well, there's two, and I share them. I'm not going to share both of them. I'm only going to share one. You have to read the book. You have to read the book. So I just talked a little bit about the sensory mode. There's this other one that's called, I call it affirmation alphabet. So whenever I am, because I do get a little panic sometimes, and I do feel overwhelmed. I just lost my 14-year-old puppy, and I mean, he's not a puppy, but he was to me. Yes, my little Jack Tripper. His paws are right here next to my heart. And I mean, I was a mess. I talk about La Muerte in my book too, which being my biggest fear, and then finally experienced that with one of the closest creatures to me. I found panicked, kind of chaotic Andrew again from his teens. Like I felt that energy a little bit again. I recognized it and I had to check with it. And I felt Tripp's love, and I remembered his eyes, and I knew that if he was there with me, that he was gonna guide me. And he does. You know, I'm getting a little emotional. Sorry. And so I trusted that. And I just remembered, you have to be kind to you. Like, stop putting these pressures so heavy on your shoulders that are just going to weigh you down like that. That's a lot of dark energy. So focusing on that light, and then so the affirmation alphabet is what helped me. So we'll start with A. You can say A, affirmations. That's one of the words you're gonna recite out loud as you're all going on a walk to somewhere that has like a beautiful view by yourself. Don't go with anybody else. It's distracting.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good note. Yeah.
Affirmations. B, blessed. C, caring. D, diligent. E, empathetic. F, forgiving. G, grateful. H, humble. I, inspired. I mean, you get the idea. So you say whatever word
about yourself.
Yes. And or yes, or what you want to be. Yes. What you're putting out into, again, sensory mode, verbally saying out loud. Then you feel it. It's out in the universe. Boom. It comes back to you. And I recite that over and over as I was feeling those anxious feelings because of losing my pet. Yeah. And it calmed me. And then I just focused. And I had a little bit of those moments like last week, because I knew that these next couple of weeks are going to be a little intense. Yeah. But I keep doing that. I keep going on those walks and having my alphabet of affirmations, and it just calms me down. So that's what I'm gifting to your audience right now. Go ahead and take that moment to yourself, breathe in the oxygen, and have your affirmation alphabet to put it out into the universe.
I love that, because I think a lot of times, even reviewing them in my head, how I came across during my IG live with you, because I was nervous, and I always kind of tend to, and I'm sure you can remember this from our days together when we worked together. I tend to self-deprecate when I'm uncomfortable. I feel like humility equals putting yourself down, saying negative things about yourself. I'm learning really quick because we need to model for our kids. And I do actually want to talk to you about how your mom modeled for you this love for creativity. But just really quick, I wanted to just say that many times I'm telling especially my daughter who's older, 11, I would tell her we have to speak well about ourselves, not ill, because because we hear it. It comes out of our mouths. It comes back into our ears. We start to believe it. Our brain starts to look, it likes to look for evidence that we really are this or this or this. And I love this affirmation alphabet because it affirms and reaffirms your mouth. Put out in the universe, I am creative. I am an educator. I'm inspiring. I'm this. And it came back to you and you're like, I know where I look.
Exactly.
Right? I'm going to make a palette. I'm going to be a CEO for my own company. How inspiring is that?
It did not happen overnight, although.
Of course not.
And it's like you're saying it like a really cute formula, and I love it. And it sounds like so easy, but it's not. Like that little inner saboteur, that little dark voice, whatever you want to call it. Some people call it, inner bee voice. It's always there. It's never going to go away. There's ways that you can still navigate your life and set those healthy boundaries that are going to set you up for success. So, I mean, this whole process has taken me 4 years, but really when I think about it, I'm a 40-year-old man. This has taken me 40 years because I've needed those 40 years of experience on this planet to be able to deliver and be of service for others. So that's key, is that I'm being of service to others by exposing myself and sharing the knowledge. And then in return, hopefully they spread that and it can be infectious with others around them. And that's really the philosophy behind art is love, love is art in general.
So this is the thing, is you almost needed the traumas. You needed the difficulties in your life to get to this. And so this is what I want to say to my mamas out there. And I'm taking note for myself because I was listening to my own podcast, right? Because what else am I going to do? But what I love about what we're getting from Andrew today is that we will have these hiccups as moms, as caregivers, and it's okay. It's okay to go through the rough patches. It's okay. It's meant to happen. I mean, I don't love the saying, what's meant to be is meant to be, blah, blah, blah. But it truly is. There's a reason why it's a cliche, because we need to do what we're destined to do to get to where we're destined to get to, right? You're living proof. I'm just so blown away that it wasn't. It definitely wasn't overnight. I know that. I know that. No. But the fact that you made choices to push through. I mean, I think the choice in itself to get therapy, to hone into some of your self-discovery moments as a teen, to take risks.
And it's the simple formula of law of attraction, and what you are putting out into the universe, you will 100% receive back. And you said it earlier, if you're constantly listening to that inner saboteur voice and you're saying bad things about you, then you're going to eventually be that and believe it, because it's the constant reminder. So that's why this affirmation alphabet is really helpful for me, because those words they mean more, and then it becomes a reality. And that's key. It's like what you're putting out and believing in it is what you're going to get in return,
And the self-awareness is quite exciting for me too, because while I'm on my discovery of self-awareness, whatever I'm trying to do with my life, there's so many times I sit back and I'm like, what the heck am I doing? Like, why am I here? I should just be mommying. I should just be homeschooling. Or why am I homeschooling? And all these decisions I'm making in life. I do have to say, as I'm doing these things, I am inadvertently modeling this for my daughter, for my kids, both my kids, but mostly my daughter right now. So I want to go back. I want to just kind of revisit Mama. Do we call her Mama Velázquez?
Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
Okay. So Mama Velázquez, I have to admire her, because back then it probably wasn't easy to do the glamming up and then loving this and that and going to cosmetics school and all that stuff. So my question for you, obviously she did what she did and that inspired you, probably made that easy for you to go into the world, but you had some resistance. I'm not saying your dad, I'm just saying in general, right? Being a Catholic, being, where you live, this, that, and the other, bullying, all that. So to make this choice to follow art, as opposed to the practical choices like becoming this, becoming that, becoming a doctor, becoming a teacher, all those things. So I have to thank you, because my daughter she's got what do you call yourselves when you're creative? Are you the right-sided, left-sided? I can't remember.
I don't know. I'm creative. I'm not a doctor.
Oh, exactly. See, there you go. That probably explains why we don't know which
Two different
side,
parts of the brain.
So the different part of the brain that's more of artistic. So you did go against kind of what I know in my own culture and back in the day, especially at age 16, to go into the world of cosmetics and art. And it's a risk. It's a risk. Mm-hmm. Once upon a time, though, did you ever feel the need to look into the other kind of life, into the other side of the brain? Or did you just go, let's look into the arts, even though no one else is doing it? This is the path of most resistance.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I because I went to the magnet schools, I remember all my teachers and I gave them shout outs in the book.
Love it.
I remember Miss Sassoon. I remember Mr. Martinez. I remember Mrs. Allen. They all were huge impacts in my life. And these are math teachers, English teachers, history teachers. Oh. And no, I think alone with their mentorship, I thought I was going to be a teacher. I remember one of my teachers actually gave me her old teacher's manual and I kept it for such a long time. And then I naturally went back home to my brothers and I was like, I'm going to be your teacher today. Let's play school. And then I would get out my curriculum and give them homework. And that was just like a norm. That was just what we did to entertain ourselves. Then for kitchen days, I would become the sous chef and then I would tell them what to cook. And my mom loved that because then she didn't have to cook. And then for arts and crafts day, then I was their art instructor. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just me embracing the maternal feminine energy at such a young age where
I love it.
I still hold that to this day, and mothers are teachers. Mothers are 100% our first mentors. And I think that's why I'm where I'm at today, because my mom was like the OG, she's a veteran. She's a veterana of Amor, Arte.
Amor, Arte, mama. I love it.
Yes, for sure. So yeah, no, I embrace that to this day, and I'm still a mentor to future cosmetologists, to people that are trying to just get into the industry. And I think that's the key, is just being of service, being a mentor, being an educator, and giving back to a community of some way, whatever that community is for you.
Now, let's go back to the fact that you love beauty in general. We got some mamas here. We did talk a little bit briefly about this on the IG. Do you have any words of encouragement with regards to the importance of feeling beautiful?
Oh, so important.
As a human, but let's talk for mamas. You are mama. So I feel like you are mama. I feel like you feel me. I often feel chaotic and tired and I don't bother. My kids are always very well dressed. They're ready to go. How come I can't do that for myself? And does that have anything to do with the fact that I feel low energy and sad and that my face isn't important, that my health isn't important? It's all about the kids, this, that, and the other. And I've had that struggle. I'm working on it. Yes. That's why you're on here.
I love it.
Right? That's why we got ourselves a little energy. So your thoughts on what you can tell our listeners, especially the mamas out there, the importance of beauty and recognizing it.
Well, I'm proud of you. Number one, thank you for being vulnerable and speaking up and sharing with us, your challenges. And I think that's very admirable, to be that vulnerable and expose that truth, because we all have that. And so thank you for sharing that. And that I'm proud that you are able to learn from that. But I think, yes, it's the key word or question of how the hell are you going to help somebody else when you can't help yourself or can't love yourself? How are you going to be a mom to others, a mentor or whatever, if you're not even doing that for yourself or taking your own advice? And I think that's the key, is that sometimes as humans, we feel this imposter syndrome. I know I've felt that before. So I think I'm going to go back to that little meditative moment before anybody's awake, before anybody is moving inside the house. Get up for yourself, go to the bathroom, go outside, go to watch the sunrise. Take that moment of alphabet affirmation, breathe in the oxygen. Mother Nature's got your back. Once you inhale that oxygen, you exhale the triggers and traumas, the negativity. you go back and you're ready to take over the world. You might not even need caffeine at that point because you're so pumped and you're so motivated and inspired from that positivity that you just did for yourself selfishly, which is good. So I'm proud of you listeners for doing that for yourself every day. Then you're going to go be able to do whatever you want and just take over the world. But it's okay to be selfish. It's okay to have that alone time. And I think it's important. I encourage everyone to do that in whatever capacity allows it for them, because those lists, that job, the mom duties, they're going to be there always, regardless. So if you're not taking that moment to love yourself and be kind, then you're not going to be able to do, on that entire list. So
you're right. I have this list ongoing every day. And I got to tell you, so it's funny. Let's just go back to the idea of going outside. And it's a simple solution.
I love it.
I homeschool my kiddo and she's resistant most days. She's also very much an artist. And I got to tell you, sometimes we go onto your profile just to show her some of your space charts. She's very inspired by your face charts.
We got to do a class. We're going
to have to do a class. Oh yeah. Let's talk about this class. Oh my gosh. Andrew is a teacher. You guys, I'm not even kidding. We're going to look into that as well. So be sure we're going to put those links on my show notes as well. But I got to say, when we do stuff like math and science, and there's nothing wrong with it, she does enjoy it at the end of the day when I learn how to teach her in a way that she learns. So that includes using art, using visuals, like tapping into what works for her. But when she has her moments and she's just like done, and the first and only thing that we do is open the door. I don't care how cold it is outside. We go outside and we take a breath in. She at first thought of it as a punishment. I said, no, there's no punishment here. We're just going to go outside and sit down because we both need a break. We need that air. And it is life-changing. Nothing that caffeine can fix, like air, something about fresh air. And then it resets you. I think the idea of resetting is the way to go.
It's change your environment. You're in a completely new environment that is built with nothing but its own energies. Like Mother Nature is stunning. It's gorgeous. It's literally breathing itself, and we're all intaking it. You know what I mean? Like when you look at our veins and I'm going to get all hippie, but you look at our veins and our arms and our bodies. Those are the same veins that are in the roots of trees. They're literally the same. Like all those, when you're on a plane and you pull out and you see the oceans and the rivers, and those are the veins of our planet. You know what I mean? Like we're all connected. We're all the same.
I love that.
It's so true. So yeah, if you're in an office, corporate or school, and you're there, you're focused, great, but then remove yourself from that environment. Put yourself outside into a beautiful space where you can have that moment for yourself.
And I think that really goes hand in hand with unplugging, like getting off the phone. I think even just thinking about beauty and how a lot of us were kind of in this overwhelm, right? And we're looking at our phone and we see other beautiful faces, whether there are other moms who can make it work, or singles, or the kids have already left home, and we just look at their faces. It's flawless. And how can you do this? How do you make this work? And then we just get more depressed. I think being able to have the boundary of not comparing yourself, but then finding what it is that makes you feel beautiful. I think that is also key too. Do you have any words of advice? How, a simple way, I mean, we have the IG Live, but what would be a nice, simple way for a mom to feel beautiful?
Okay. It's going to start with what I discussed earlier, having that selfish moment of just being alone and a little meditative experience, whatever that means for you. Then instead of drinking coffee first thing, when you wake up, I know because I'm guilty of that at times as well, just drink a big glass of water. A big glass of water. What does water have? Oxygen. You're feeding your brain. You're feeding your mind, your body, and your soul. And
they say 2 cups, 2 glasses of water. Yeah.
I've been drinking that all day, and I'll sit down as I'm doing, because I do my own grooming as well, my own makeup, and I'll have that. It's like therapy for me. So have your glass of water with some ice in it, have your your setting spray, your misting spray, and just pamper yourself for even like 15 minutes. That's all it takes. A little pampering spray, fixing spray, little eye cream that has caffeine. So there's your caffeine. Now you don't have to drink it. You can do caffeine extract, eye cream.
Through your skin will actually go into my system and give me energy.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes. And it detox at the same time. Yeah.
Yes.
Think about it. You're absorbing it. Your body's going to intake it. So it still travels through your liver. It's the same thing. Hello.
Right.
I might be an artist, but I know anatomy. And then at least these three things. If you don't have time for like a full face of glam, at least after what I've just discussed, at least a little bit of concealer, a little bit of bronzer, and either mascara or like a beautiful lip color that just pops. So those three things, because it's like eyes, skin, lips. It takes care of all those features. It's a little bit more even. Then your eyes stand out more. You're more expressive. The lashes help you. The mascara helps you. And then your teeth look whiter because you have a pop-up lip. So at least those three things. That. Yeah.
And that's like quick. That is possible.
15 minutes.
We can do that. 50 minutes. I'd even say some mamas can do this in 5 minutes. Come on.
Oh, for sure. But please don't do it while you're driving and also breastfeeding at the same time, because that's going to stress me out now. I'm getting hot.
He's patting his anxiety. I love it. Now, I think, Andrew is a busy, very sought after individual right now, especially as he's launching his book. So,
it's happening.
And his cosmetics line, it is incredible. I would encourage you to stop what you're doing and follow him on all his platforms. So I'm going to give Andrew a chance to give him a little bit of a self shout out. Can you tell us where to find you, where they can get your book, when, how, what, all the things? Where can we find you?
All right. So my name is Andrew Velázquez, and that's the same for all of my handles on all social media platforms. It's AndrewVelazquez_. And you can find my book, my cosmetics, and my fan at loveisart.artislove.com. For those of us that speak Spanish, it would be Amor es Arte, Arte es Amor.com. So it's available both in English and Spanish, the site. The book is to come in Spanish soon. But right now it is in English with some Spanglish in there. And the palette is also going to be available on November 15th, as well as a fan for those of us having hot flashes to cool you down. I have them as well. I'm telling you, I have the maternal instinct in me. Or if you want to just dry your lash quickly, this is a great way to do that. You know what I mean? But yes, that is, and then andrewvelázquez.com is my salon portfolio, and that's it.
I love you. And can we just quickly mention, so Amazon is where we can find some, some past streams.
Yeah. Go to Amazon Prime, and you're going to search for American Beauty Star season 1. Yep. And then you'll see all the things that I've experienced and talk about in the book.
And now we know the backstory. We know that he was in the backstage and doing right.
Some of the backstory. You'll get the most.
You got to get the book
as you get the read on. Yes.
Yes.
I love you, Debbie. Sass and
love you, Andrew.
You guys rule. Yes. Team moms. Let's go.
Team moms. So thank you so much for being here, and my love to you, everybody. Like I said, go and follow our wonderful Andrew. And as always, thank you for listening here and watching us here on Sass and Small Talk. We will see you on our next episode. Bye.
Bye, guys.
I need my sass back.
Signing off. See ya, guys. Bye. Signing off. See ya. Bye.